Okay, so you're wrong about Genji and why he's strong. Today's video is going to be talking about the misconception that goes around with the current state of Genji and how he performs, where his strength comes from, and why he was so prevalent in the current few metas that 5v5 has gone through in the past few patches, and then the incredible downfall that has happened. I mean, seriously, look at his win rate over here. Guys, he had a win rate of a good 53 to 54%, and he's plummeted to 47, 46% in GM and above. So we're going to talk about this in today's video. With that being said, let's get into it. Now, honestly, as a quick TLDR, the reason Genji's had such a strong showcase in 5v5, at least the past couple of seasons, has been because of the direction that his perks have taken him. So honestly, it's more about the sustain that's been brought to him through the power of perks. Now, as you guys know, previously in Overwatch 1 and even throughout the early stage of 5v5, whenever Genji had become meta, one thing that didn't get enough attention within the metas that he was able to thrive in was just how much amount of support, sustain and pocketing that could go through his way, that they could constantly keep enabling the character. Now, I will give some credit where it's due. It's not like the current hero design and balance team are unaware that Genji is a character that needs a lot of investment from supports to actually work out. You can actually see this pattern in his kit at the moment. Number one, to start off, they have him for some strange reason at 250 HP. Realistically speaking, from a consistency standpoint, there's no reason for this character to be sitting at 250 HP. The reason for this is because 225 HP heroes are characters that are meant to be very mobile or typically have stronger breakpoints that allows them to, bring forth a threat factor in the game that they're very, very threatening with their ability to, dish out a lot of damage. But the trade-off is that they're going to be typically low HP characters that you can, if they are caught with their pants down, you're going to be able to blow them up, punish them, and send them back into the spawn room. So Genji actually met this requirement, just like other characters like Freya and Echo as well, or Pharah, but for some strange reason, they did not allow him to go down to 225. Now, if you want my personal theory, the reason for this is probably because in the internal playtesting, they realized that Genji just couldn't perform with the 225 HP. Honestly, I could be wrong about this one too, but I really don't understand why he's still 250. It would honestly solve so many problems, and then you could trade that off by giving him back his 28 damage shurikens and, everything else to help him with the quality of life. But I digress. Moving on, another pattern that you can see when it comes down to his perks is quite simple. The strongest perks that he has is actually two different perks that allow him to sustain himself. Number one, Dragon's Thirst is by far his best perk that allows him to cover the weakness of Dragon Blade. Dragon Blade's biggest problem has always been that it needs a support pocket one way or the other through an Ananana boost, now a Wu Yang bubble with his ultimate, or a mercy damage boost or healing to get Genji into the fight and start putting the work in. Now with the Dragon's Thirst, obviously Blade lifesteal, you don't need that pocket because one way or the other you can kind of keep yourself up and keep going. This sounds really, really strong on paper that, oh my god, like having the lifesteal should help increase his uptime and keep him in a fight. And you're exactly right. There's no denying it that Dragon's Thirst is a little bit overtuned at the moment, and I even suggested that we could try bringing it down to about 25% lifesteal or even 20% lifesteal if it meant that we could help out the character's base kit. Then on the other side, when it comes to the majors, honestly, as much as they've tried to make the bleed effect work, it's just too inconsistent or just doesn't really matter. You typically want meditation. Meditation also got buffed up to from 25 healing per second to 35 healing per second, and this thing makes a big difference for the character. It also gives him a little bit of outcharge that can help make a difference in the long run in a team fight. So that's exactly where Genji's self-sustain problem begins and what allows him to thrive as a mini off-tank in this current era of 5v5. So let's talk about these mini off-tanks that we're now getting in the DPS role. The flex DPS role has evolved like crazy because you have these mini off-tanks that are good at sustaining themselves, holding an off angle, holding, well, any angle for that matter, or being able to support their tank and going in and kind of doing their job. This has been the direction that they've been going with a lot of characters in Flex DPS. Notably speaking, right now, Symmetra is the strongest one in this role. Vendetta, I assume, will be just like Genji, will also be really good at that mini off-tank like playstyle because that's exactly where Genji is excelling right now. Reaper is another one of these characters, and so is Venture, where they have enough HP, enough self-sustain, enough mobility where they can control a space and work with their tank to just bring more presence across a map, right? Then you have the hit scan DPS who are actually just completely focused on lethality and blowing something up. Unless you're playing Soldier 76, then you sit there and cry in a river and wonder why Soldier 76 still hasn't gotten a breakpoint buff. By the way, I'll be talking about the breakpoint buffs that, the characters that desperately need it in tomorrow's video, where I'll be talking about the characters that desperately need buffs and help, because seriously, there's some characters that have been neglected for way too long and we really need to help them out. Now, coming back over to the state of Genji and where his strength is at the moment, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When you basically have the mini off-tank role in the flex DPS slot now, the problem is that you've kind of changed the way that they play. Now, arguably, I'm going to keep it real, I don't like Genji's current playstyle. It's not exactly what I fell in love with, but I've learned to adapt to it, where it's a lot more about holding a space, and the sheer threat factor of you existing there with the potential to confirming a kill is more than enough for people to play slow and respect your positioning. It kind of reminds me of Overwatch 1 with how D.Va could hold an off angle and make sure that flankers never pushed it, otherwise she would blow them up almost instantaneously. But is this really the direction that we should take Genji and keep him, interesting or fun to play? I don't think it does any of that. I think honestly it makes the character boring. Like, he still has his moments where you can, get the fun of the high highs of popping off and doing your dash combos. But what I would like to see is a bit of a direction shift with him, because in my opinion, one of the biggest fun factors of Genji was always being able to pop off and just kind of do your thing. He's a very high skill ceiling and, well, now a mediocre reward type hero. So I feel like we can shift him and take him the right direction. Now, they've done a couple of things to help lean into that. Number one is that they reduced his projectile size. Now, this is actually the biggest nerf that has hurt him, other than the deflect change as well, because it's really, really failing him in the regard that he cannot secure a kill anymore. Pair that with the fact that the ammo count is even less. So if you're missing because again, he shoots out 3 different shurikens. If you're missing even 1 or 2 of those shurikens, you're not landing your full damage potential. You're being punished even more for that. So again, this is one of those things where you have to turn around and look at the state of the character and say, okay, we should seriously try to help him out. But I actually like the fact that they reverted the Season 9 change on Genji, because it actually makes him a lot more skillful again. So what is it that I would do to help out this character going forward? And I think you guys know exactly where I'm going with this, because there is no reason for us not to try this version of Genji and see how it goes. Number one, the first thing I'm going to do is drop this character to 225 HP. This is also going to address the character in low elo, where a lot of Genjis are able to get away with doing silly things, and it's going to make playing him a lot more risky. So you have a high risk in the fact that you'll get stronger breakpoints, which is what I'm about to lean into. And you have the fact that you can ultra feed if you don't understand how to play well with this character, right? Because in low elo, people complain that Genji can just kind of survive and do whatever he wants. So bringing him down to 225 HP makes it easier for characters like Winston, Symmetra, and Moira to farm him in low elo lobbies, while also addressing the character at high level play, where the Genjis that know the exact timing to go in, pop off, do their combos, and get out will be the ones to thrive. So I think that's a healthy middle ground for high and low elo to enjoy this character. Now, in terms of the breakpoint increases that I would like to see, number one, I want to start by experimenting with giving him 28 damage shuriken. 28 damage shuriken Genji was barely meta even in Overwatch 1, and then even when he did become meta, there was a time where he got replaced in a dive comp with the Widowmaker, just because her sheer threat factor and potential to, pick off anybody on the map was much stronger than Genji's. Moving on, until Genji got buffed with 29 damage shuriken, that's a different topic. The only reason I don't want to give him 29 damage shuriken is I do think it could become potentially overwhelming, and I don't really want to over buff him for no reason. So we can start with 28 damage shuriken and then kind of see how the character performs and where he goes from there. And then the next thing I would do is, for God's sake, revert the deflect nerf. It's the stupidest change I've ever seen this game go through. It has ruined so much muscle memory based interactions. I don't understand why deflect took the nerf, and again, I do know in theory why it took the nerf, because they were trying to account for the meditation uptime overall in a game. But it's stupid. If the perks are where Genji is strong, then nerf the perks. Now, alternatively, if we do want to nerf the character and keep him where he is right now, which is like a soft sustain bot, then nerf meditation to 30 healing a second, or make blade twisting a lot more appealing by making it 35 additional damage over time. Granted that makes the character a bit easier, but what can you do? This is like Overwatch 2 and we're making the game pathetically easy slowly over time. Then what you can do is look at Dragon's Thirst and change Dragon's Thirst lifesteal to 25 or 20% and see how the character performs. Power shift him, make his perks weaker or at least a little bit more interesting in some way, but put more power in the base kit. That's what I would like to see going forward for my favorite character and hero, because I do think at the moment he's a little bit awkward in the way that he's playing. Definitely there's a lot of fun factor that's been lost, but I still enjoy playing him. But that's just a direction shift I'd like to see for Genji. What do you guys think? If you had the chance to change Genji and what you would do for him, let me know in the comments down below. As always, you can support me for free by hitting like and subscribe. Moreover, times are getting a little bit tough and I do need a little bit of financial assistance. If you guys don't mind, do check out the Patreon link down below. And as always, shoutouts to the patrons that are supporting me at the moment. With that said, see you in tomorrow's video.